Welcome to the Pathway CEO Exchange. I am Dr. Rose, and today I want to speak to the person who knows something has changed but has not yet figured out what comes next. Maybe you're rebuilding your business or you're rebuilding your ministry. Maybe you're rebuilding your confidence. Someone today may be saying, I'm rebuilding after caregiving. Maybe you're beginning again because there has been some loss. You've gone through grief. There's been a health challenge. Maybe you're beginning after a financial challenge or a major transition. And if there's ever a time that we're in lots of things happening, it is right now. You may be beginning, from many different issues, or maybe there hasn't been any dramatic things that's happened in your life. You just simply know that the way you've been doing life or business, it no longer fits where you are going. And so here is what I want you to hear from my heart today. Your next chapter does not need more pressure. It needs a framework. Your next chapter does not need, again, let me say, more pressure. It needs a framework. And so, my newest book, this is the next chapter framework. I want you to know that I did not write this book from theory alone. I wrote this from my life. There was a time when I had professional experience. There was business experience. I've had ministry experience, gone to school, got education. I have leadership ability. But then life began changing. Anybody agree with that? Anybody ever had life to just change on you? If so, I want you to, put down in the message, that's been me. That was me. Life change. Caregiving became part of my story. I've worked in the medical for a long time. And so I've always been what I would consider a caregiver. But it became something that was full time for me. And then loss became part of my story. Financial rebuilding became part of my story. Anybody had to start over again, when it came to your finances? Health challenges became part of my story. I lost my mother. I lost my brother, only sibling. I lost my son, my only child. And when seasons like that happen, you don't simply just wake up the next morning and say, now let's make a 5-year business plan. You see, sometimes the first question is much smaller. What now? There was a season when I sat in an empty office and I had to confront that question. What now? Who am I after everything that happened? What do I still have to give? Am I too old to start again? Did I miss my time? Does what I know still matter? Maybe someone listening has asked those questions too. And over time, I began to understand I was not going back. I was going forward, but differently. Sometimes rebuilding is not about getting your old life back. It's about learning how to move forward differently. And so the book, for those of you that can perhaps see my book here, sometimes, it's a little strange when it comes to these screens, but the book moves through 12 stages. There is foundation, there's interruption, there's preparation, provision, presence, release, redemption, reentry. There's vision and surrender. There's rebuilding and multiplication. And I want you to notice something. Rebuilding is stage 11, not stage 2. We live in a culture that wants people to hurry. We want everything like yesterday. No, not even yesterday. I want everything as of last month, last year. Something happens Monday, and by Friday, everybody wants to know, what your comeback plan is. Anybody ever been there? You go through devastation, and people is like, okay, so what you gonna do? Life does not always work that way, though. Sometimes there is preparation. Sometimes there is grieving. Yeah. And let me just say to the religious world, we tend to want to say, well, you got faith. Why are you going through that grieving process? We're still human for those that maybe they're not experiencing that. But, in human life, there comes a time that we go through a period of grieving. And then sometimes there is release. Sometimes there is surrender. Sometimes you need to rediscover who you are before you try to build something new. And let me just say this, rebuilding is not always the first assignment after disruption. Sometimes the first assignment, and hear me well with this, it is to heal, release, listen, and get clear. As the next chapter framework grew beyond the book into my coaching and leadership work, I began organizing the practical rebuilding process around 6 areas. And those 6 areas are clarity. You hear me talk a lot about clarity, capacity, structure, strategy, sustainability, and legacy. Let me give you 6 questions, and I want you to write these down. Anybody got a pen? Okay, I want you to get a pen, get a piece of paper, and I want you to write this down. Number 1, clarity. Where am I now? This question forces you to stop building from an outdated version of yourself. What's changed? What still matters? What no longer fits? Number 2, capacity. What can I realistically carry? Look at your energy, your time, your money, your responsibilities, your support. Look at your health, your focus. You cannot create a wise plan without respecting capacity. A plan that ignores your capacity is not a strategy, it is a wish. Number 3, structure. What system is missing? Your gift needs structure. Your vision needs structure. Your business needs structure. Preachers, your ministry needs structure. Your calendar needs structure. Structure reduces unnecessary chaos. And for those of us that understand scripture, the Bible teaches us that our God is a God of order. He's a God of structure. Everything that has been created was about structure. And so number 4 is strategy. What is my next wise move? My business, before I changed the name, it was called Wise Business Choices. When the Lord began to deal with me in rebranding and changing some things because of the last loss of going through and having to take a sabbatical and to sit back a minute and reevaluate some things. And then that's when the business name then changed to Elevate Pathways. And so I began to hear the question, what's the next wise move? I did not say, what are my next 100 moves? What is the next wise move? One good decision can create momentum. Number 5 is sustainability. Can I keep doing this? Somebody need to be asking that question right now. Can you keep doing this? I'm no longer interested in building things that require a person to destroy herself just to keep them running. Build what can last. Number 6, it's legacy. What am I building beyond this moment? What do you know that should be documented? What have you lived that could become teaching? Is there a book in you? You see, I've written many books. Many of them I've never even talked about, never really promoted them. This one is totally different. The next chapter. It's just totally different. You see, because it's so important that we leave a legacy. What have you lived that could become teaching? Is it a workshop, a course, a ministry model, a business, a system? Is it a mentoring relationship, a community? Your story may contain wisdom somebody else needs. And I'm going to tell you through life's experiences, good, bad, and a whole lot of indifferent things, some stuff very ugly. But guess what? Those experience in life has become today my purpose, has allowed me to move into my destiny and to recognize that it will leave a legacy. And so this is exactly what we're going to work on together. On Friday, August the 21st, I am hosting a free 90-minute webinar on Zoom, and it is called The Next Chapter Is Now. It begins at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for those of you that may be on Mountain or Central or Pacific, please make sure to check your time zone. You want to be present. This is not designed to be 90 minutes of me just, simply talking at you. I want you thinking. I want you writing. I want you assessing some things, making some decisions. And we're going to look at clarity, capacity, structure, and strategy. We're going to look at sustainability and legacy. And my goal is that when the 90 minutes are over, you're going to be able to identify one clear action for the next 7 days. You don't need to solve the rest of your life in one evening. You just need one clear next step. Registration is free. There is a link in the description below for you to register. Again, let me say this. You do not need to solve the rest of your life today. You just need one clear next step. But there's another conversation that we need to have. Because your next chapter is not being built in the world of 1995 or 2005 or 2020, we are building in a world that's being reshaped by artificial intelligence. And I know some people hear those words and immediately you feel intimidated. Some are excited, some are afraid, some are like confused. There are some who have already started experimenting. I began working with AI when ChatGPT started back 2023. I was on it. I'm a technical person, and so I have just a thing about technology anyway. And so when 2023 hit, I was on it like gangbusters. But there may be some that's listening, that you are wondering, you wished you would simply, some things would just disappear. And it's not wise, let me say this, it's not wise to panic. And it is not wise to ignore what is changing. That's why I created another initiative. And it is called the Wave of Now and Beyond. Here is how these two ideas connect. The next chapter framework says, get clear about who you are, where you are, and what you are building. The wave of now and beyond says, now understand the environment you're building it in. See, artificial intelligence can potentially help a solo business owner organize idea. I'm a solopreneur. And through artificial intelligence today, I'm able to do what it would take for me, take a team of 2, 5, or 10 others to do. And so artificial intelligence can help you in so many ways. It can help you draft your content. If you're a content creator, you're looking at starting a new business, it can help you, to develop a simple business plan. It'll help you create ideas, outlines. You're looking at trying to get monies. Guess what it can help you do? To create and write out that plan that you need for a grant. It becomes your grant writer. It can help develop workflows, draft preachers, teaching material, teachers, educators. It can help you reduce repetitive work. And it can help leaders to do certain things so much faster. But listen, speed is not the only issue. We also need wisdom, privacy, accuracy, human review. We need ethics and mission alignment. We need responsible use. And so the wave is not about replacing human wisdom. Let me say this. This is about helping leaders understand the change and lead through it responsibly. Now, as a minister of the gospel, it is important that I add here that a lot of times in the religious sector, we tend to think, oh, I don't need that. That's not of the Lord. That's part of the mark of the beast system. It is time that we gain wisdom. It is time that we get understanding of these things. It's time that we grab hold of some things that can help us to become better for the work of the kingdom. AI should not replace your wisdom. It should make you more intentional about where human wisdom is required. And so I want you to think of the next several weeks as a journey. August the 21st, 2026, the next chapter is now. What am I building? What needs clarity? What structure do I need? What is my next wise move? Then on September the 19th, AI without fear, entering the wave of now and beyond is going to be held. How is the world of work changing? What does AI actually mean for leaders, entrepreneurs, ministers of the gospel, teachers, educators, loan officers, mortgage brokers, realtors? Where might it help? What are the risks? How do we use it responsibly? How do we prepare ourselves, our businesses, our ministries, our nonprofits, and our organizations for what is coming? The September event will be held Saturday, September 19th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. Both events, you must register. It will be in the description even on how to register for that September 19th event, as well as the August 21st event. And I especially want the person who says, I'm not technical. I hear that all the time. I'm not a technical person. But let me just say, that's okay. This conversation is being built for non-technical leaders also. Let me say that again. You do not have to become a technologist to become a prepared leader. And so I want to leave you with this today. You cannot change what happened in the last chapter, but you can become intentional about what you carry into the next chapter. Carry the wisdom, carry the lessons, carry the faith, carry the experience, but leave behind whatever no longer belongs. Then rebuild with clarity, capacity, structure, strategy, sustainability, and legacy. Your story is not over. I'm going to say that again to somebody that's listening. Come closer. Come on closer. Your story is not over. Your next chapter does not begin when everything becomes perfect. And let me just say, I just thought about this. I wanted to say this because, we got so much AI technology and I do use AI. But let me just say, this is not an AI persona of me. This is not an avatar of me. This is the real me in the flesh speaking to you today. Your next chapter does not begin when everything becomes perfect. It begins when you get clear and you take the next wise step. And so join me on Friday evening, August the 21st at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the free 90-minute webinar. The next chapter is now. The registration link, it is in the description. And then stay with me as we prepare for September the 19th and the wave of now and beyond. Because there are really two questions every leader needs to be asking right now. What am I called to build next? And am I prepared for the world I am building it in? I am Dr. Rose M. White. This has been the Pathways CEO Exchange. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And remember, the next chapter is now. Until next time, make it a great day.